we've kind of just taken off. All right, okay. I will put my mic on. Okay, that's better. So one of the things when I started kind of venturing into this crazy instrument, you know, I would come to some workshops and I would hear chording, or I would hear people talk about chording. I had no idea, you know, I mean, I've played instruments, I've sang, I've done, but I'm not classically trained or anything. So in my mind, I was sort of always kind of like, how do you chord on a hammered dulcimer? You only got 2 hands. You know, I'm envisioning 3 hands, or how they do on a piano, and I'm thinking, how do you do that? Only got 2 hands. So that's where I hope that I can kind of open up that box for you a little bit today. I have taken a lot of classes from Rick Thumb, and I would highly encourage taking his A to Z class, whether it's the beginner and then you can go into the advanced. I've taken it numerous times. So he really has a really good foundation for chord structure. Everybody does. I just kind of opened up Pandora's box. So a lot of what I'm going to talk to you today about is really kind of his method. So if you go to his classes, you're going to kind of hear in the same terms. I handed out just the basic sheet as to what we want to accomplish today. And I do have written music for Front Porch Waltz and for Angela the Baker. I am not teaching those tunes, the melodies today. All we're going to do is work with just chording to those tunes. How many, I know my group, but how many know Front Porch Waltz? Okay. And what about Angela and the Baker? Okay. So about half of them. Okay. All right. So basically, I'm tethered and that makes me nervous. Yikes! So there are many ways that you can play a chord. Well, first of all, we have chords. We have the key. What key is it in? Then you need to know what chords go into that key. And then you need to know what notes go into the chords. Keys, chords, and notes. Okay? So if you are in a jam, they call out a tune, and somebody does, and you don't know, you know, there's thousands of tunes. We don't know the melody to all of these tunes. If somebody does not call out and ask what key it's in, please ask, because your neighbor's going to be glad that you asked. Okay? The example that I'm going to use is if you don't have a key to get into your house, you're locked out. Okay? That's basically it. This is our house. We have to have the key to get in. All right? So, if you look at it this way, looking at, let's say, we're going to play something in the key of D. We have our boxes on the dulcimer. This is my D box here. Okay? That's my main floor of the house. I'm going to unlock the door. I'm going to get into the main floor, D. Alright? I've lost my phone. I got to get into the house, unlock my door. I got to look for my phone. I'm going to go in to the main floor, and nope, it's not there. I've looked all over the main floor. It's not there. Where am I going to go? I'm going to run upstairs to the second level and look for my phone. Still isn't there. Darn it, I'm going to come back down, main level, can't find it yet. Then, you know what? I was doing laundry in the basement. Maybe it's down there. So go down to the basement. The next box down. Still can't find it. end up going back to the main level. It's in the kitchen where I left it. So what I just demonstrated to you is what you will hear 1, 4, 5. It's a chord progression, okay? You have your main, if you're in the key of D, you're going to have, that's your root. That's your first box you're going to go to. Then you're going to go up to the second box, G box. You go back to the D and down to the A, and you land on the main level of D. So if you don't know that tune, you can safely say, yeah, if I play those chords in that order, most likely I'm going to be able to play along with that jam, okay? If you are playing, let's just say we're going to start on D, which if it's in the key of D, your first chord is going to be a D, 99.9% of the time, okay? And you move up to G and it just didn't sound right. Come back down, come back home, come back to the main level. Get yourself kind of grounded. Because I find that music that's in the key of D, a lot of times like the A part, will go D, A, D, A, D, A for some reason, and it doesn't touch that G. But you can safely say, those are the 3 chords that I'm safe in playing, messing around with, and I'm going to be able to do that in a jam, okay? Same example of the key of G. So, this is we're in the G box. This is my main level, all right? Start out on G. Upstairs is the C box. Up here. Come back to the main level. Go down to the basement, the D. Come back to the main level. And that is in any key that you're going to play. Okay? We mostly, at these jams, you're going to find most of the tunes are played D and G. Sometimes I'll throw an F in there, a C in there, and you still follow the same thing, but not all our dulcimers can kind of, you know, we can only go so far up and we can only go so far down. Okay? So today we're going to simply talk about, we're going to play around with something in the key of D and also in the key of G. Now, there are many ways that you can play a chord, but today we're going to talk about just one simple way. It is referred to as the shed. You will hear it termed as the outhouse and Nevada. I think those are the 3. Okay, it's all the same thing. All right. So I'm going to just kind of draw this up here real quick. Shed. Okay, that's the shape that we're going to be dealing with. Okay, now a chord, we talked about 1, 4, 5 for the key, the chords in the key, but to get a chord, your notes are 1, 3, 5. So if you get in your D box, look at your D box, and your first note of that D chord is your D. Your second note is your F sharp. The third note is over here on the A. And then you can top it off with that high D. Okay? Now one nice thing about chording on the dulcimer is you do not have to do all 4 of these at all times. Okay? Okay, sometimes you might want to just do, you're playing a D chord. If you just do this, you're doing a D chord, okay? So you could do this. It just depends on what you're, you know, what are you feeling? A lot of the fiddle tunes you can get away with, any of that. But if you're really unfamiliar with the tune, I would say just start hitting the D. Go up to the G. Go to the D. Go to the A. And then, kind of the second time through, say, okay, I'm going to throw another note in there. And just, you know, kind of experiment with it. But that's what used to confuse me. I'm like, how can I play all those notes? You don't really have to play all those notes. It's really, really what you feel. Play one note, play two notes, 3 or 4, okay? All right. So is that as clear as mud? All right. So what I am going to do is we're going to kind of just start out Angelina Baker. I'm going to just play you the melody of Angelina Baker. Okay? And that is in the key of D. So if you look at the chord progression on Angelina Baker, it is D, go upstairs to G, come back to the main level of D, and then it's going to go to A. Okay? Now one thing that's a little unusual with Angelina Baker is it ends on an A. Alright? So it's a little unusual. Alright? But it really does follow the chord progression nicely. Okay? So identify where your D box is. Does everybody know where that is? Okay? Everybody good on that? Okay. And then identify where your G box is. And then your A box. Okay? Put your hand up if anybody needs any help on that. Okay?
The E box, can you show me, is that just the same as the D because it's in the same thing, or you just go down?
Go down here.
Oh, that way. Okay,
yep.
Thank you.
Here's your D, your G, your A.
Mary, on measure 7, I think it is, did we make a switch on the D, G, or poster that, or we play 2 notes in D and 2 in G?
Well, here's the thing, is now, I've given you the written music, but don't go by the written music. Okay, I correct that. I want you to hear that chord change. Okay, so that's really what this is about, is more hearing the chord changes. I just want you to have this as reference. Okay, so let me just see if I do a quick turnaround on that, because I personally have to play it to see if I do that quick. You're talking about in the last measure, the D, G, A.
Yeah, where the D,
right
G
before,
comes
yeah,
real close
first
to
and
the same measure.
Yeah, let me see if, because a lot of times when you see these, like a D, a G, and an A, that's a turnaround. Guitar players can do that. We as Hammond Dulcimers don't always do that.
Because it would mean let's go D, G,
If we-
A, all the
yeah.
way down.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
So
a lot of
D,
times this
from-
is more for guitar players, because they can do that quick turnaround.
And a quarter, right? It works good on a quarter.
Right, right.
Quite
Okay.
frankly, when I don't know a tune and I have the music, that's what I do. I use a guitar chord.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep. Watch the guitar player, you can see how they're,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's true.
Okay, all right. So I can't stress enough that it is very, very easy to change keys on this instrument. We don't need to see the dots on the paper to change the key. If you have learned this tune in the key of D, and all of a sudden they call it out in the key of G, bing, you should say, oh, that's okay, I'm just moving to a different place on the dulcimer, but I'm doing the same pattern. That's what's beautiful about this instrument. All right, we don't always have to see the dots. And I mean, I'm talking about dots on the paper. All right, so I'm going to just play the melody of Angela and Baker, and then we're just going to go through and just kind of work through doing some chording with it. Okay, like I say, I'm not going to teach the melody of the tune. Okay, now I'm going to just chord. Now you've heard the melody. Now I'm going to just chord. If I just played the chords, you probably would be able to even hear the melody out of it, because we've already played that melody. Okay? And no, I did not do a turnaround on it. I went from E to A. Okay. Okay. All right. So what we want to do, let's just kind of work on just the A part. And what I want to do is, let's see how far we're going to go here. So what I want you to do is what we call pedal. So find your D on your right side of your treble. And then let's just do the A on the opposite side. Okay? And just 1, 2, we're just going to go back one. Ba, 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 ba. Kind of get started. Okay? All right. And then we're going to hear, I'll just kind of hum it to it, and then you'll hear where, hopefully you will be able to hear when you got to get up to that G, okay? All right, so let's just start to pedal. 1, up? Okay. And then we're going to come back down. So let's take that a little bit further. Okay? 1, 2, 3, pedal. 1, da, 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 down. Back to D. A G. everybody able to follow that? Okay, good? Okay, all right. You guys good over here? Okay, all right. So now we're gonna add a little extra note in there. We just did the two. Bop, 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 bop. Now we're gonna bop, 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 bop. So 1, 3, 5. Just pedal it. Everybody got it? Da, 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 How was that? Thank you, thank you.
Simple. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm hoping, is if I can just unlock something for you. Yeah, okay, okay. Now we're gonna add a little bit more, and that is that extra high, that what I call this is the floor of the shed. This is the front wall. This is the roof.
That is what?
This is the roof of the shed. Okay, so that I already, you can start out with the floor, add your wall, add your roof, bring it back down. So just, and like I say, you can do that pattern really however you want to, as long as you're playing those notes, playing a D chord, all right? And if you get kind of lost, you go back, like I say, just make it simple. Okay, I know I got to be on a D. Maybe I just need to hit just the D. To kind of, that's why we call it the root. Just root yourself, okay? All right, so now we're going to do the same thing. And what I want you to do is, we're going to pedal again. And we're going to do that full shed shape. So it's, I'll play it for you. Holler out if you don't get it. Go ahead and start playing it. Everybody got it? Okay. And we are going to play the same shape as we move up with every chord. Move up and down. Take that back, because that da 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 is not going to allow us to hit all the way up. It's not going to. We don't have enough time to get that full shed in there. So what I do is I do a full shed. Da 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 da. So I'm kind of just going. What I did there was I did the full shed, dun, 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 because it only allowed me to go that, if you did the full shed, then you'd be out of time, okay? So we're going to slow this down because we are adding a little extra. Can somebody kind of keep time for each? Okay, so let's just do that part. We're going to do the D shed up to that G. We're going to kind of cycle that out. Okay. Okay. Go ahead and we'll start pedaling on that D shed. Good. Back down, shed. experiment, okay? That's what this is all about, okay? And eventually you'll be able to hear how far you can go with it, okay? Everybody good that we can go on to the B part? Okay. Now the B part really follows the same progression. It sounds different. Start out again with the D shed. We're going to move up to the G, come back to the D, down to the A. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead, if everybody's comfortable in doing that full shed, because it does add a little bit more. Okay? So let's just start pedaling on that, and we're going to work on the B part. Okay. Pedal it. It sounded good. How did everybody, are you hearing the chord changes?
I've got the first part, but the second part I'm lost.
Okay, just remember it follows the same, and it's probably because it does. And it's just maybe because the B part starts out a little different up here, and it's kind of like, oh, where do I go? But it's the same thing. Okay, so let's go through that again. Okay, just the B part. So let's pedal it. So you're going to start the D, you're going to move to the G, the D, the A. Same thing as you did in the A part. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead and pedal. 1, 2, 3, play. Play it through. Are you good? Okay. Let's go ahead and play this through one time. We're going to play it through 2 times, and then we're going to just go on front porch waltzes. I do want to touch on that also. Okay. For Angeline. So it's a fiddle tune, so it's always played 2A, 2B. Okay. All right. All right, so let's just start with pedaling, and then I'm going to play the melody, and you guys can do the chording. Okay. All right, start pedaling on the D shed. Now the B part, D, chord, we're going to touch on front porch waltz because again, when Rick Thumb wrote front porch waltz, he really did it out of just basically chording, and then he put some melody. It just came to me with melody, and he follows that chord progression just beautifully. And you can do so much with just chording on this tune, okay? So I am going to play the melody, and again, now this front porch waltz is in the key of G, all right? So we're just going to be playing around different boxes. We're going to play with, it's going to be the G, the C, the G, the D. The only difference with the B part on front porch waltz is it does start with C, but then it goes back into following his normal progression. Okay. Now, like I say, there are so many. What we were doing was called the first position chord. Okay. The shed is first position. There is 4 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and a 3. You take that D chord all the way from the bottom to the top of your dulcimer. It's all different positions. That's why I say, if you get a chance, please take Rick's courses, because he gets into the positions, which gets into a 3-day course. And I don't have that much time. So anyway, that's your first position chord. Okay. Now front porch waltz, we can do first position chord with that also. But what's really neat about that is that you can get a little bit fancier in taking that first position and going backwards on it, and it sounds so fancy. So when I talk about that, I'm just going to play a G chord, first position, shed. You can do that. You can do that through the whole song, and you'll be fine. Okay? But what I'd like to do is I like to take it from the top of the chord. I want to make sure everybody can see this. What I do, so I was doing this. What I do is I come, I go backwards. And let me.
Mary, where did you start again?
Start on that top D.
On the top.
Okay.
So I'm going back.
Start on the rough.
Sweep them back. And I'm adding that. It goes into, if you do a sweep, what I'm doing is I'm just adding a bass note in there, and that's my first to second position. And what's really neat is you can do that with these waltzes, and it just sounds so pretty. It's a first to second, you're just sweeping from this side of your instrument, and I'm hitting a bass note, so I'm coming. It's just, just kind of keep that in mind. Your bass notes are absolutely beautiful when it comes to waltzes, and it's going to add some pretty flair to it. Okay, so front porch waltz. I'm going to go ahead and just play the melody to the A part, and then we'll work through it. If you guys can keep kind of time for me. Okay, we got 10 minutes to cover an awful lot. You guys are lucky because you live by me. So.
We're very lucky.
We're in Wisconsin.
Oh,
yeah.
Southeast Wisconsin.
Okay, so I will play the melody to A, and then we're going to kind of just venture into it for you. from the G. I did just the G up to the C, the G, the D, the G, just that progression, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and just, let's start to pedal on that G box. We'll do the shed, if everybody's comfortable with that, and if you're not, just hit whatever notes you know, if you want to just do 2 to start, and then we're going to take it up, just like we did with Evangeline. We're just in a different place on our dulcimer, okay? All right, okay, let's just pedal on the G shed. I'm going to go ahead and keep pedaling. I'm going to just play the melody. I'm fixing my recording. Okay.
It sounds like you're playing.
Huh?
It sounds like you're playing in a 4/4.
Well, you can, but so what we're going to do, there's a pickup. The thing is, there's a pickup, the pickup notes when you play for front porch waltz. So, da, 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 da. It will fit in, yes it does, and that's where when I do my backwards, it makes it fancier, but let's just keep doing the shed, and I'm going to play the melody as you guys are doing your sheds. You guys are pretty good with this?
If somebody could like sing so it's louder.
Yeah, well, I'll play the melody.
Okay.
Okay, so. It's just those pickup notes kind of throw everybody off. Okay, okay, go ahead and start your G shed. On your G. Yeah. Okay, go ahead and pedal. little bit more challenging, but it's still, again, it does follow the same progression. Okay? Now, the B part, again, do I have to do like 5 minutes?
Is there 5 minutes?
Okay, okay. So the B part is, I gotta play the whole thing to be able to. So that starts into the B part, and that's actually a C chord. Then we go back down to the G. And then back to the D. And back to the G. Back to the C. Back to the G. Down to the D. Back to the G. So let's just do this. Let's go from the C. Let's just follow that progression. So let's just start pedaling on the C. Now go down to the G. Down to the D. Back to the G. Back to the C. You're at the beginning of the B part. Back to the G. Down. You have played the whole B part right there. That's the B part. Okay? It's just that it starts on.
I'm making it fit by